Hey guys, Sunstreaker was here. Welcome back to another Thursday live stream. And yes, as always, covering hot topics on Transformers Earth Wars. Thanks for joining me as always. A lot of information to go through today. A lot of things have been announced. I was here last week sort of defending a lot of decisions that Apes were making. But I think it's at a point now where there's something I just can't defend. I won't talk about it just yet, what has been announced. I'm sure some people in chat know already. But there have been some big announcements this week. That just come from nowhere, if I'm honest with you. And I literally hit Dale up going like, why is this happening? So we'll talk about the why. We'll talk about the what they've done to stop that, and we'll talk about whether it was the right decision or not. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what's happening this week, what's been happening last week. We're going to talk a bit about the new bot that's been added to the store, whether it's a good idea, bad idea, whether it's a good idea to go for it or not. We're talking a bit about a new strategy that's kind of been nerfed a bit. Well, I say a bit, but yeah, whether it's right or wrong again. And we're also going to be taking a look at the top 5 improvements. It's not all bad, guys. There are some good things that have happened from this balance patch. And we're going to talk about the top 5 improvements from this patch. And we're also going to look through the usage rates of some of these bots, some of the top bots that have had buffs and nerfs, and see if the usage rates have changed and how much and what that actually means for those bots. Again, we can't sort of look at these and just go, trust them 100%. I'm not saying the Apes have made them up, but there's still people experimenting with stuff, trying things out. No one's really got their proper war team, I think, in place yet. There's still people trying different bots out and different strategies and different combinations. So they're going to be a bit skewed for now. But it'll give you an idea on what the top players are using. So it's all on Prime League to give you an idea. So we're going to look through that as well. But let's take a look at who we've got in the chat. So we've got our buddy Trax. Good to see you. We've got Freezius as well, a little content creator. Go and check your channel out, guys. Should be streaming after me. Put it in the chat if you are Freeze. Let everyone know. Got my buddy Stephen Gomez as well. Thanks for joining. We've got Predacon19, Ricky Lau. We've got Matt here. We've got Andrew Stevenson. We've got Twilight TYR. Good to see you. We've got Blade19, one of my members. Thank you for being a member, buddy. We've got buddy Darklance as well. We've got Carnage Mac. Alright, as always. Good to see you back. We've got Cuddy Fox. We've got Chris Harmon. We've got my friend Candyman as well. Good to see you, bud. Make Minnesota great again, he says. Yeah, he's not wrong. We've got William Wilkinson, we've got Barry C, we've got Hellraiser, we've got Deshaun, we've got Anthrax 2, we have got Buddy Soldier. Good to see you. He's came over in the chat. Good to see you as well, buddy. Go and check out Soldier's channel. I always say very polished, very good content. Go check it out, guys. We've got someone's name I can't pronounce. I apologize. I think it's in Hebrew, maybe, but hello to you anyway. We've got Yun as well. We've got Giga. How's it going? We've got Bling Bling 31. We've got London's Calling. It's just jumped ahead. We've got Backwards Entertainment. Thanks for being a member as well. Good to see you, buddy. But make TFAW great again. He's not wrong. We've got Lordy. We've got Cube as well. Good to see you, Cube. Thanks for joining. And we've got Glenn W. Meme47, Sky Voltage. We've got our buddy Vic Ching as well. Meme47 and Berserk. So yeah, a few people said nice t-shirt. I thought, yeah, I'm going to rock the Oasis t-shirt today. This is literally the t-shirt that I wore for the gig. So I thought, yeah, I'd wear this today. Hell, why not? Hell of it. Yeah. It was a great concert. I'm sure Vic Ching will say the same. I'm sure Cube is jealous. But yeah, it was a really, really cool day. Literally, like, I've been reliving it ever since. Honestly, I want to go back again, watch it again. I've been listening to a lot of Richard Ashcroft in the car. He was a supporting act. He was quite big. He was in a band called The Verve in the 90s. It was huge over here. It was a really good day. Really enjoyed it. I think the only thing that was missing was meeting Vic Ching, I think. Disappointing. Both tried to meet, but yeah. And Freezus said he's streaming tonight, so his stream will soon be about half an hour, 20 minutes after mine finishes. So go and check it out. Cool. I think that's everyone. Just wanted to start by say that obviously this weekend is TF Nation, so I will be joining Dale and Callum at TF Nation on Sunday. So if you're there, look out for me. Say hi. Yeah, whatever. Come get a picture if you want. I mean, it's weird to me like that, but hey, it'd be good for my stream anyway to put some pictures of people that I do meet there. So it'd be good to see you if you are there, guys. I think we're getting there for about 10 a.m. I think when it opens, thereabouts. I'm meeting Dale just beforehand, and then we'll be going in there. We'll be there most of the day, I think. So keep an eye out. If you are going, then let me know. I am going to vlog it, I am going to video it, and then I'm going to cut it up and make a little sort of video of my trip. So yeah, hopefully I can meet some guys that have played the game and talk about the game, and even do some points while I'm there, because it's obviously, I was going to say endurance, it's not endurance though, is it anymore? It's a legacy event now. So yeah, if you are there, then let me know, and yeah, keep an eye out for me. I'll be there. I probably have a hat on though. You know, I do wear a lot of hats. I did say last week, didn't I? Do wear a lot of hats when I go out, really, so I might have a hat on. But yeah, if you're there, I will see you there. Yeah, I think other than that, Jake's found his teams now. We've got two teams finally signed in, so it looks pretty good. Two high-level teams. So yeah, he's sorted now for the season. Had a couple of friendlies for one team. The other team's not starting until 2 weeks away. And he's got a game on Monday as well, his first game of the season for his Saturday club. He's been at the Saturday club for years, since he was like 4 or 5 years old. He's staying there, he enjoys it there. And yeah, got his first game of the season on Monday night. So we're back to it again, back to the lots of nights and lots of early mornings at weekends. And I think he's got a game in about 2 weeks' time on a Saturday as well, I think. So for his other team, for his new Sunday team. So looking forward to it. However, but never heard of TF Nation. Sounds cool. Let me know when the Water Tour comes to the US. Water Tour, funny. Yeah, even Matt is laughing at that. I do plan on going to the US one day. It's going to be quite a few years though. I think the US is so expensive, obviously, to go to for us Brits. I think the flights alone are about £2,000. So to give you an idea, I always talk to grind tags because I say $2,000. People go, oh, that's not too bad. But to give you an idea, that's probably a decent month's wage. So whatever a decent month's wage is for someone in the US, that's what it costs for flights to the US. If that makes sense. And that's without obviously a hotel, spending money, anything else. So you're talking about, I say 3 months' wages. You're probably talking for a holiday to the US, a good holiday. So yeah, it's a lot of money. So we will see, but I think it will happen one day. It's just a matter of when, not if. But yeah, I'm hoping the next few years. But it will be Florida, I think. I mean, Florida's amazing for kids. So yeah, it will be Florida, I think we go to. So if you are in Florida, then yeah, the reason why we can't meet up somewhere or something. But yeah, looking forward to it. It's gonna be pretty cool. But yeah, on to TF Nation this weekend. That's the main one. And Stephen Gomez, thank you for being a member. We do his membership and his port. The apes bottled it, like you Brits say. That is a good phrase. Bottled it means sort of like chickened out, sort of like back down a bit. I'm not sure if that's the right phrase for what happened, but it is a British phrase that we do quite a bit. You know, say like a good team is up in a final, say, and then loses really badly. You'd say they bottled it. You know, they sort of give up. So yeah. Twilight TYR has put TF Nation will focus in England. I'm in the US, won't be going, obviously. Yeah, I get that. If it was in the USA, I might go. I think there is ones in the USA, obviously, but there's none. There's limited ones over here, I think. So I think only 2, I think, over here. But yeah. Freezer's put good, nice. Gold me eyes, Jake. I know he's an incredible footballer at this point. Yeah, he's pretty good. He's at that sort of in between level. I keep saying that he's not quite pro level, but at the grassroots is like the basic level that everyone plays at. Really, he's quite high level for that. So he's somewhere in between that. Really. Candyman's put nothing beats a jet to holiday. No one in the stream, I don't think, will understand that apart from the British people. It's a great meme. It's great. Carnage Mac. All right, but Florida hurt you. Could meet up with Engineer Hoist. I haven't spoke to Hoist since forever. To be honest with you. How about British phrase gobshite? So yeah, gobshite means someone that talks a lot of rubbish. What else? Blade 19, but no, they didn't bottle it. They dropped it and didn't bother picking it back up again. We started a civil war over Neptune today. We'll talk about it later, like I said about that. But yeah, definitely coming. Trying to see if there's anything else that Tracks give a round of slaps to Dale and Callum. She's some business sense as well. Give them 2 from me. Ouch. Give Dale a slap on the head. Listen, no one's going to hit anyone. But listen, I have no problem letting them know how I feel. As you guys know, I say it as it is, and it'll be the same on Sunday. No, I'm not going to get personal with them. Listen, they're doing the job. At the end of the day, if someone came to my job and started giving me crap, I'm like, get out, I'm not listening to you. So yeah, I'm gonna be honest with them. We'll probably have some chats about the game and things like that, no doubt. Could be obviously a topic, but yeah, it'd be good to meet him though. Listen, I've talked to Dale probably every other day for 5 years, never met the guy, so it'd be good to meet him. He has helped me a lot, regardless of whatever he does in the game. I've got a lot of respect for the guy. I know people are annoyed with him right now, rightly so in some respects. But, I've no doubt, honestly, that he is doing it for the right reasons, even though sometimes it's the wrong choice. But he is doing it for the right reasons. He's not here to ruin the game. No one wants that. But, yeah. But anyway, we'll talk about that later. Okay. Let's get into the newsletter. Bowie Grana with Ninibong. This weekend's event is a Mayhem individual event for 2 4-star bot crystals. Okay. I thought it was a thing this weekend. Guaranteed bot crystals. I thought it was Trailbreak this weekend. Is that next weekend? Next weekend? Next weekend, I think. Next weekend, yeah. Why is it Mayhem then? I don't know. Don't know what's going on. Anyway, but we got 2 4-star crystals guaranteed, so that's another 365-star shard for me because there'll be dupes because I've got all the 4-stars in the game, I think. Yeah, I'd have to find out if some of the newer ones are available. I'd have to actually look at my account, but I'm pretty sure I got all the 4-star box now. 750,000 spark, same with Combiner Spark, 6 million in Troop XP, 1,500 5-star shards, 3,000 4-star shards, 5,000 3-star shards, and 50,000 premium shards as well. I just forgot something as well. Yeah. We are going to be announcing the 5-star batch today as well. More about it later. But anyway, yeah, decent event. Some good rewards for 200,000. Oh, actually, 50,000 points. Still a lot for a 4-star bot. Game updates and information. Obviously, talk about the 4-star crystals. Talk about tracks. Some bug fixes. We're going to talk a bit about that later, so I'm going to skip through it. There's a lot there. Some web store bundles. Obviously, we've got some cyber coins and fuels and stuff. We'll talk a bit about that. We've got tracks. We've got Shadow Track, Shadow Cutthroat skins, guaranteed 4-star bots and G1 cores and shards and stuff. And yeah, I was wrong. Legacy is next week, so 50k this week, which is quite high for a week before. I suppose it is Mayhem. So 50k is not a lot in Mayhem really, and then 70k next week. So done with a bit of spending. So we'll have to wait and see. Then go and check out your content trade. Go and check out your content creators. Obviously myself, CS, Soldier, and Freeze. And then look out for the team stream whenever they choose to do it, whenever that could be. Who knows? One day. Catch up with the chats, have a look. Obviously, a lot of talk about the changes. Obviously, it's a big Talking point. Yeah, people said next weekend Trailbreaker. Yeah, yeah. It's because I've got 10 days off work now, so I'm off now completely. I do need to visit Vic Ching. I do need to do that in the next week or so. I'll contact you, Vic. And I'm off both weekends, but obviously it's this Sunday is I'm going to TF Nation, and next weekend I'm away. So I knew I'd have to play the game for the. Well, I thought it was an endurance event while I was doing something, but obviously it's when I'm away with my family. Well, it's gonna be interesting, but hey. Darklands put mayhem because a week is a week reward for last week's patch. Oh, that's not a reward, surely. Yeah, Blade 19's put last week. He was talking about looking at him and probably reverting him. Some of what he's done, and then he goes away and nurse him again. We'll talk a bit about that. Why? What else? Yep, Neil's asking about the 5-star batch. We will get to it shortly. Or towards the end of the stream, if I'm honest with you. Always leave the juicy stuff to the end. Makes you watch it a bit longer than it. Quiddy Fox, I hate the old update. I had a team of Leo, Beach, and Bluey. Now I'm out to separate them. Yeah, I mean, I get it. I get both sides of it. I do. You know, when they create something overpowered that badly, it needs fixing quickly, and that's not on Dale, to be fair. But it should have been fixed a lot quicker. And I said to Dale, we went through a stage of going to tooltips, and I was like, well, no, you go off what balance is. If the bot tooltip is wrong, then change the tooltip. If the bot's wrong but tooltip is right, then revert it to the tooltip. But then if it's somewhere in between, you think the tooltip or the bot are both wrong, then change it. You know, just make it relevant. Bloodleaf Gaming's put, how do you feel about the last event? As a base 16 free-to-play player, I barely managed to reach 10,000 points. I reached, I think I got 16k points. I didn't bother with it at all. You know, I think I'm quite good at looking at something and using and judging whether it should be decent or not off the sort of stats and how it works. You know, I kind of know what stats is good, what stats aren't, what the kind of magic numbers are, what you need in the game. Because I play it enough to know these things. And I'm not being big-headed. I'm just saying that from experience, you kind of get a feel for whether something's going to be good or not. And I used Ruination before that in some resource raids, and I kind of said, like, this is going to be really hard to power level in Zone 17. Once you drop down to 15, there's no point going 16 because there's still maxed out bases that you still need a good Ruination or a good combiner even and other bots. I did use other combiners and try them, but they weren't quite as effective. The way I see it is, in Zone 17, I was doing well before the Ruination changes, and I thought I'm not going to get near to that. But again, we'll talk a bit about that when we get to the Ruination discussion. But yeah. Grind Time, welcome to the stream as well. Good to see you, buddy. Matute as well, good to see you. He's put a bug that I hope gets fixed is ability descriptions in all languages. Mine is Spanish, and a lot of bots are the same as before. Yeah, they said they are going to work on that for some reason. I can't remember what they said, but there is some reason that they're going to change that. So yeah. Cool. Cool. Right. All right. Let's crack on. So obviously we spoke about 5-star tracks coming to the store eventually, and then a few weeks ago said he was coming to the store, $50, which equates to about £45 roughly, and so it's finally here. So we've got the 3 5-star tracks bundles. You've got the normal 5-star tracks bundle there. You've got the 5-star tracks bundle there with 500,000 spark and a captain rank as well. And then we've got the 5-star tracks with 2 million spark and a major troop rank upgrade as well. So some decent bundles. But the big question is, should you buy it? And even I've debated this. Even I've sat there thinking, should I buy this? Should I buy 5-star tracks? Will you use 5-star tracks? Will I use 5-star tracks? Yeah, maybe, probably. Do I use the 4-star? No. Should I use the 4-star? Maybe. And this is why I've not bought it yet, because the way I sort of see it is that they did say that the 5-star tracks will come to the store and it'll be available soon after. The keyword there is soon. Now, this was 2 months or so. I'd be like, listen, don't buy it, guys. Don't bother. Use the 4-star. Wait for the 5-star to come in the batches. But they've now said it'll probably be next year, which is a long time. But I have been using Overload, but I find it hard to get him in position all the time. Whereas tracks you can cast wherever you want. But I think the big question that you need to ask yourself is, do you use the 4-star? Is the 5-star much different than the 5-star? I don't think it is. I don't think there is a big change, a big difference between the 5-star and 4-star. If we look at the 5-star and 4-star in the game, we've got the 5-star version there. So 70% damage reduction, which is obviously a big of a change, for 21 seconds. And we look at the 4-star, and it's 6% reduction for 21 seconds. With a 15% attack and movement speed, same for the 5-star. So you're getting 10% damage reduction shield. It's not a lot. And then we've got 24.5k and 800 DPS there or thereabouts. And then we've got 917 and 29k in health. So it's 4.5k health, which is not loads. 4.5k, it's a bit. It's alright, it's a good jump. And then you've got obviously about 120 DPS. So it's alright. I mean, I know a lot of top players that use the 4-star are waiting for this 5-star and thinking the 5-star will sort of fit in better just for aesthetics because you don't want a 4-star in your team. And I get that some people will be like, well, that's just crazy. But a lot of top players sort of work that way, that they won't touch a 4-star bot. But for me, there's not much difference between the 4 and 5-star. The 4-star does a great job already. So I'm not in any mad rush to go and get the 5-star version. So, although I think that it's a good deal, I thought it'd be a lot dearer than this. I think for $45 we'll get a lot of takers, believe it or not. I know a few people in my alliance that have bought it already. But I just don't think there's a big enough change to really warrant going spending $45 on a bot that's almost the same as the 4-star version that I've already got leveled. People forget, obviously, the money you've got to put into it to level them as well. It's probably talking $40, $50 to level them up to, max rank. That's before the Ruin nerf, so it might cost even more than that. And then the Spark investment and everything else. Is it really worth it? I don't think so. But you've also got to think that we're talking about balance changes as well. And for me, there's nothing worse than maybe doing this and then them being changes to tracks at a later date. With the 5-star coming out, I think his usage rates will go up. I already think he is OP. That was my opinion before this patch came out. Me and Dale were talking about bots, and I said that Track's initial cost at 2 is crazy for 2 ability points. There's no bot in the game, I think, that starts with 2 ability points. And Track's to add 70% protection in an area for 2 ability points is super, super cheap. Granted, the extra uses then it gets expensive, rightly so. But for me, I would rather have a higher initial cost with a slightly less repeat cost. I think 4 plus 4 is probably accurate for Tracks. Some people would be a bit annoyed with that. I get it. But, it is quite OP. But the last thing I want to see is that people are going to literally just buy this bot. They've not just spent on this bot by playing events and getting 5-star shards and going chasing a bot in a batch. That's hard enough. But actually just going buying a bot outright for them to see it maybe nerfed down the line, I'm not too sure that's the best idea. I don't like that. And I think that they should have made some changes to Tracks previously. I think they should have changed his cost beforehand and then brought him in a bundle so everyone knows. Now, I'm not sat here saying that this batch, this bot is going to get nerfed. I'm not sat here saying that. I don't know. I honestly don't. I just know that if it was me, I would have changed his cost. That's what I would have done previously. Now, who knows? But you have to sort of accept that now with the way they are running it. And it's going to be interesting to see if that happens and what people's reaction is. So let me know what you think. Have you bought 5-star Tracks? Do you think Is it a good addition? Is it a good idea? Put him in the store. And do you think he's going to get nerfed down the line? Let me know. Yeah, Downland spot Bumblebee starts at 2. Yeah, fair point. Bumblebee does. But he's nowhere near as good as Traxel, is he? Nowhere near. Yeah, Pretty King 19's put, about Cutthroat being a combiner bot. That's a fair point. It almost makes it essential for the cons. So, yeah. What else? Berserk's put, with the new cost, it's a 1 use per battle. Oh, it should be, really, for what it has. I think if that's the case, I think it should be. Because it is really, really cheap. And the amount of protection you get is absolutely crazy. Show again. Yeah, 70% damage reduction is crazy for a team. Not for one bot, for your whole team. Think about how any bot in the game that adds that sort of damage reduction for 2 ability points. And then 9 is crazy expensive. But I would have had it 4+4 personally. I think that'd been fair. Backwards Entertainment's put bad idea to put tracks in the store, and it sucks to be a comp for the 5-star combiner part. And they will definitely nerf him again. Is 4+4 a nerf? Maybe. Is 4+3 a nerf? Maybe. I don't know. Is 5+2 a nerf? Yeah, well, yeah, it is because it's 5 and then 7, yeah. I don't know, I'm just trying to think, you know. Giga's put, don't really see a point in buying the bot because I don't use him in my team and don't have the 4-star version. He is very good though. I would go and get the 4-star version, I would. Matty's put, was Overload and Demolishers or Exhaust cost? Overload's cost, where is it? Where's Overload? Is he a gunner or is he special? Yeah, special, that's why. It's 3+4. So 3 then 7. So yeah, he is slightly more expensive than Trax. But only gives 50% damage reduction, 15 seconds, but also gives hack immunity. But by that essence, then he should be 2+4 maybe. He should be cheaper than Trax. He's not as good. So, but then does a bit of damage, I suppose, but yeah. Backwards Entertainment's put, I would make it 4+4, Darklands 4+3. Is the actual cost reduction 4 then 7? No, it's 2 on 7. He is using it 3 times. Yeah, if you're using it 3 times, then it is a cost reduction, I suppose, but yeah. Blade 19's put, no doubt about it. Cut is going to get nerfed. Illuminati's put, buy to get nerfed. That's the new slogan of this game. Ouch. Twilight's put, if you think about it, it's just math in the end with ability cost 2+7. In my opinion, is the most when compared to 4+4, 4+3, or 3+5. Again, depends on how many times you use it. If you're going to use it twice, then 4+3 is more expensive because it's 4+7, which is 11, whereas 2+7 is 11. Is that right? No, 2+5 in it. Is it 2+4, 2+7? Oh no, it's 11 as well. So yeah. Yeah. So it's 2+9 is 11. Yeah. Yeah. Whereas 4+4 is 12, so it's more expensive 4+4 for 2 uses. And 3 uses is a bit cheaper, so yeah. Cuddy Fox has put, they made Leo ridiculous amount of times being used. It would not surprise they will do it to anyone they think can knock out the MDS in 1 shot. No, because there's some bots that are made for that. And those bots are obviously quite a high cost as well. I think if there's any bots that can wipe out the MDS for cheap, I would say if there's any bot that can wipe out an MDS for less than 5 ability points, then yeah, chances are that might get nerfed. That's a lot of damage. I would say, yeah, that's why Jets can't one-shot it in Prime League hard mode for 4 ability points. And that's why you'll generally see the likes of Roadbuster. You can take out an MDS for 6 ability points. So that's sort of what you're looking at, really, probably 6 ability points. Candyman's put. I always thought they got tracks and smokescreen mixed up. Yeah, because the name. Yeah, fair point. Trax has put 2 plus 7 is 9, then 16, 4 plus 4 is 8, then 12. I'm talking 2 uses. That's what I'm saying to you. Yeah? So 12 is more expensive. 4 plus 4 is 4, then 8, which is 12. 2 plus 7 is 11. It's not 16. 2 plus 9. Matt, it didn't used to be 80% for long. No, no, it used to be 80%. No. No. Trax is still doing this. I'm talking about 2 uses. I've literally said that about 3 times. I'm talking about 2 uses. 2 uses. 2. 2 uses. Cookson's bottom slightly surprised there's no Trax G1 core going with these bundles. Yeah, but I think it's just so OP that they can't give him a G1 core. I think that's a problem. But yeah. Tyson Mitchell are confused. Arteta out. For those that don't know, Arteta is the Arsenal manager. Yeah. Literally 2 uses, guys. Jesus, like everyone's like going, what you on about maths wise? 2 plus 7 is 2 plus 9. Which is 11. 4 plus 4 is 4 plus 8, which is 12. So 4 plus 4 for 2 uses is more expensive. Dead simple maths. Okay, cool. Next up. So, if you remember correctly, I had grind time on my stream showing everyone a super new, cool strategy that everyone's kind of using in wars, and that is well, sack strategy is no new strategy. It's been in the game for many years, but people are using a new strategy in which they're using a bot and putting a minion and then dropping the minion to pop some outposts. So we'll give it a rough go. I'm no expert at this, but I'll try and show you what it entails. This is very roughly how it works, because I've never done this. I'm definitely not a sack player. But we drop blades back here, and we don't get stunned. Drop the combat in the wrong place. Let's try again. Such a noob. Like I said, I'm definitely no sack player. Let's give me a chance, eh? So we drop blades at the back there. And we use the ability as far as we can go, I believe. And then he will drop growl and not pop an outpost. Like I said, guys, I'm crap at this. I've never done this before. Literally never. Just showing how much of a noob I am at sack. Let's try again. Yeah, I'm waiting for all the laughing emojis in the chat, to be fair. Let's try again. Let's put him over. I can't do this. Why is it not working? I don't even know. Have they actually fixed it? I don't know. Said they were debating it. Didn't say they actually fixed it. Put him down here instead. It's posting to. Let's just sit here all day, shall we? Trying this out. I should really learn it if well, maybe not now. And there you go. We drop the combat and we pop the outposts. So the kind of sack strategy is that you're going to fly in mid-air, time it right, so that they drop the combat and pop the outposts, and then bring in the bots to the forefront. That's how it works. So they also mentioned that at the minute the drop rate is around 10 seconds, so you get a chance to drop your bot, give it a second or two, drop it far out the map, and then pop the outpost from range. But they said that they're reducing that to about 2 seconds. And I know a lot of people are quite annoyed by this, but what I always think about is, when we're sort of looking at this, is are we using the bot how it was intended? So I don't think for 1 minute that the intention was to put a minion combat on a airboat and drop it wherever you want on the map. I don't think that was ever the intention. So when they sort of talk about nerfing these things, I kind of understand it. But from my sort of point of view, it's a bit different. So I also like creating my own bases and my own designs. And I always think to myself, I like to try and stop a certain attack strategy, whatever is the meta in the game. If it's a walk strategy, then I'll try and place walls that direct and split bots up a bit and direct them different directions. Just try and stop the healers from healing and walking all over. If people are doing sack strategies, then I try and put mines in certain places to prevent them from jumping with certain bots and putting the outpost further back. The problem we've got is with the blade sack, it's almost impossible to stop. Unless you're going to put literally every single outpost at the back of the map with very little defences, and then you just open to really jumping with cup. A very, very simple sack strategy. You know, and I've always said on my channel that, me personally, I would like a way to prevent sack. Whether that's using mine placements, whether using certain outposts, whatever that might be. I should have a way that I want to defend against sack. But sadly, there is no real counter for it. Now, there's a counter for Elita, fair enough. But there's no real counter for blade sack, and there's definitely no counter for cup sack. Cup sack's been made harder, now it's not invisible. So granted, it's a bit more difficult. But I don't want to ruin the bots for other uses either. So I don't want to ruin blades, I don't want to ruin cup, I don't want to ruin Elita, because they're used in certain ways. But dropping the combat late is probably the most suitable fix. As in dropping it early rather than later. So, sadly, I kind of understand the fix and kind of agree with the fix to a degree, because it's not how it was intended, it's not how it should be used, and it's kind of undefendable. So, sadly, I kind of understand it. But, not to say we can kill sack, there's still plenty of ways and options to do it, maybe not as cheap, but I kind of get it. So, let me know what you guys think. Viable strategy that's been nerfed, or is it just a bug that's being fixed? Let me know what you guys think. Traxxas put the change the drop from 10 seconds to 2. Did they actually do that though? Or are they thinking about doing it? I don't think they have changed it, have they? I don't know. Well, Dark Answers put it no longer works. Have you tried it on live? Let me know. I know he's told me he was trying to talk about it and looking at it, but he didn't tell me if he did or not. Sea of Texas put, you just said it, which is going to piss a lot of people off. They're finally being used as intended. Yeah, I think that's it, yeah. Trax has put, they talk about this being a strategy, but then the Yodos don't like a strategy and change content because of it. I think that I've always said this, they're always going to favour a walk team, because in a walk team, you take on every defense, you take on every outpost bot and the combiner, pretty much. And so that's kind of how they sort of see you sort of killing the bases. Now, can they change that? Maybe. There's other ways. Do I see Sack a problem? No. But then the problem you've got is that Sack is quite cheap. It's cheaper than walking. I've always said that Sack should be quite expensive at the cost of then you've then got to fight with 7 bots and there's time issues maybe and whatever else. But there should be a downfall of doing Sack. But you just find that at the minute, wasting all the outpost abilities in one go for like 10 abilities is a lot cheaper than what you would use to protect your bots and heal your bots and kill other defenses around that. Do I want to kill Sack? No, I don't want to kill it. I just want to be able to defend against it. I might leave it open to rush. I might leave it open to walks. But at the minute, there's literally no way that you can defend against it. Sadly, that's my problem with it. Blade 19's, but if someone is clever enough to use a strategy, I don't understand why they think they have to change somebody doing it. Because it's a bug. It is, let's be honest. It's a bug. It is. Glenn W's thought, feel like they want to homogenize everything, so nothing is special and everything is flat. I kind of get what you mean. What is Sack? Sack is a sacrifice strategy where you sacrifice something. Now, I kind of understand sacrificing a bot, but not a combat. It's a bit, I don't know. But yeah, Sack strategy is sacrifice strategy where you sacrifice a bot and waste all the outpost abilities. Yeah. What else? Berserk's put, by that logic, all hollows are cheating. Well, we actually had this discussion with Dale whether hollows were designed to pop outposts. And I think the first hollow that was ever made was RC, and then she could pop outposts. So maybe, maybe not. But the difference is though with the hollows, they die a lot quicker. They're not invulnerable. I would argue, and that you have to get a lot closer to use them. So I think it's slightly different. Deshaun's put, got any information from the game about the new bots coming to the game? Zero. Nothing at all, honestly. Candice Macarai has put, one can also use Solus Prime turrets, maybe. But then I guarantee that'll get fixed as well then. New Mega 123's put, create a new defensive weapon, a black hole. Let the sack bot fall in it. Deep where it can't pop stuff. Interesting. It's not a bad idea. Meta Bears put, Hollow should pop outballs just like Neptune's. Hollow should damage the HQ. Interesting. We'll talk about it a bit. Baboon asked, is God Neptune getting any changes? We're literally going to talk about that shortly. In fact, next. To fair, yeah. When is the next live stream for Transformers Earth Wars? They're not doing them anymore. Sadly, so you're stuck with me. Sorry. Hollows popping the beacon was considered a bug and changed? What do you mean? Oh, you mean Ruination and God Neptune's hollows popping the beacon was a bug? Yeah, I believe so. So yeah, they changed that. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So So, a big talking point of the last week or two since balance change has been Ruination. How it's affected wars, how it's affected leveling. We had Dale on the stream last week, and I said give him time, because he literally said on the stream that they're going to look to buff these combiners because they, hands up, probably took them a bit too far, and they're going to look to buff the combiners. And I literally sat here and said, listen, give the guy a chance, he's trying to do the right thing. And that's God's honest truth. God's honest truth at the time was I was, on the fence of, listen, they've gone too far with it, and he agreed. They're going to buff it, guys. So, to hear today that they've made a further nerf to Ruination was kind of quite insulting, to be honest with you. I was quite annoyed by it. And so, what they've done is, they've actually nerfed Ruination's hollows, so that they're not doing the ability damage. So how it would use Ruination's hollows normally would be towards the end of when Ruination's dying, usually. You would drop the hollows and they would finish a section of the base off or distract from defences or something like that. But they would do quite a bit of damage with their abilities. Mostly, in fact, I'll show you. In fact, I can't because they've nerfed it on this, so yeah, I can. Yeah. No point in showing it's not working properly. So, I asked Dale, I said, where's this come from? Has someone complained about this? Is there something that I've missed? And Dale said that, well, the hollows are doing damage against the HQ and people were soloing Elimination with just a combiner. Now, when Elimination first came out, Elimination mode, for HQ 18, and the reason, I'm sure it was 18, wasn't it? Yeah. And the reason for it was basically for your base upgrades, because they wanted to slow people down from coining just straight through the HQ and making it so powerful straight off the bat, because that's what some whales were doing. So they came up with a clever idea, which it was, to be fair, was to bring out Z Energon and slow people down. So down, let's just put it was HQ 17, apologies, HQ 17. So the idea was, it would slow people down, stop them maxing the bases, it was a new resource for people to try and obtain. So when they brought out Elimination mode as a way to obtain this Z Energon, some clever people at the top end of the game were using combiners to simply just destroy the HQ, get Z Energon, and then just spend coins on replenishing their combiner or 13. But then they sort of realised they were doing this and it was costing them very little money and they were going to max out their base. And so as a fix, they decided, right, we're going to stop combiners doing damage against the HQ to prevent people from killing Elimination mode too easy. And at the time, I wasn't really happy about it, but I understood the reasoning. And that's been the case for 2 years, maybe something like that. Now, fast forward to Ruination. When Ruination came out, the hollows are doing damage against the HQ and the base. And this was in test. I'm pretty sure we told them at the time this was happening, and they were kind of happy with that, or at least fine with it. And I think the reasoning really is that if this would have been 2 years previous for the release of HQ 17 and the release of HQ 18 as well, then I kind of get that it might be a problem because people are going to farm this resource as super or quite rare. But it kind of gets to a point where Z Energon wasn't rare anymore. And so farming this resource wasn't as big a problem. And although people did use it for Elimination mode, people started doing the same in leveling. They were taking Ruination and one bot. They were clearing a lot of the base out with the bot and Ruination and dropping the hollows and helping finish off. Then fast forward to release of Mayhem mode. So Mayhem mode obviously uses 15 fuel cells. It's 3 battles in one. It's a lot of fuel cells, but a lot of XP if you can compete at level 7 or in zone 17. Now for zone 17, if you had a maxed out 5-star Ruination and a half decent bot, you could take on, I'd say 60-70% of bases with just one bot, getting say 3.5 mil XP per bot. It was a crazy amount of XP you would get. Makes leveling bots a lot easier. a lot easier to get points as well. But occasionally you'd come up against max bases, completely maxed out bases. And so you need a strong team and a strong Ruination to take that on. And I would say if you get a maxed out base, it was 50-50 whether you can take the base out or not. You could sometimes kill the HQ, sometimes not. You would drop points and lose points. But you know what? I think people are happy with that because they realise that they're getting so much XP out of it, they're getting so many points, they're freeing up time over the weekend that people thought, you know what, I can take losing them battles. That 1 in 10 battle that you lose, maybe 2 in 10 even, it's fine. I'm getting tons of XP, it's okay. But now with the Ruination changes, not only is he harder to level with, I understand that pre this nerf, you could take out some of the base, but then the hollows are still decent at taking out the rest of the base. So, although it was a nerf on leveling bots in 17, it made it a bit harder. It wasn't very difficult. It was just difficult. More difficult. You maybe need 2 bots, or at least 1 very good bot. Now, they reverted this damage to the HQ with the hollows. It's made it extremely, extremely difficult to level in Zone 17. Now, elimination mode can still pretty much be done with this Ruination nerf. It's not made it super different. And I think the only thing you can really get is XP, which is a lot of grinding. And again, I'm kind of fine with that. I don't do it because, honestly, I can't be bothered grinding that amount of XP through elimination mode. It takes a lot. But in terms of events, it's made it almost impossible to level in Zone 17. And so now, there's no point leveling 16, because it's still maxed out bases. I don't think Ruination can really do 16. And so now you're looking at going into Zone 15. Zone 15, you can take most bases out with 1 bot. If you've got a combiner, any combiner, it's overkill. But the big difference there is, instead of getting 3.5 mil per battle, those 15 cells, you're now getting 1.5 mil, maybe. You're getting a third of the XP. So it's going to take you 3 times as many battles to get the same XP it was before. Now, the way I would do it is, I would take a bot from level 51, I would take it to 60, I would get it through the lab, I would take it up to 70, or well, 69. I don't like maxing out bots. But I would do that, and then level another bot maybe for like $40 to complete the event. Now $40, it'll take me more battles, because I'm in Zone 15, getting 750 points rather than 1,000 points. It's going to take me a quarter more battles. It's going to take me twice the amount of battles to get the XP, and thus more money. So I kind of sit here and think that I understood that they nerf Ruination. He needed a nerf. I know it's not a popular opinion, but it's true. They went too far with it. We gave them a chance to try and correct it, but they've nerfed it even more. And did the hollows need nerfing? Yeah, I think they did, if I'm honest with you. But they didn't need to be nerfed as well as the nerf that happened before. What they needed to do was, they needed to keep the hollows like they were, and nerf Ruination somewhere in between what it was and where he is now. But what they did was, they nerfed Ruination and buffed the hollows, and that sort of went from, let's just say the old Ruination is 100. They brought Ruination down to 10 at 100, but then with the hollow buff, it made him like up to 40. But now with the hollows losing that damage, it's literally now down to like 0 in that sort of gauge. And they're going to build Ruination back up again to like 50 or 60 maybe. But my point is, when he was down here and the hollows are overpowered, why not buff Ruination first and then nerf the hollows and balance it out? That makes perfect sense to me, because the hollows were a bit overpowered on their own. But you don't nerf it before the buff comes. I just don't understand that way of thinking. It's already been nerfed, you've already said you're going to buff it, and the next thing you do is nerf it again? I just don't get that. And I'm literally sat here saying, listen, I am not doing any more big events while Ruination is the way he is. And that's not me sort of spit my dummy out the pram and going like, oh, I've had enough of this, and, you know, this game's rubbish, and all the things that people are saying. But you're literally making me spend more money than what I was before by these changes. And the idea of Mayhem Mode was to free up your weekend, was so you're maybe spending the same you were before or something, and giving you an easy way to do events. That was all the sort of plans that they sort of made. So why? The big question is, why are you trying to make me sort of spend more money? I don't think they've literally done it to make you spend more money. Let's throw that out. But it's a consequence of what they've done. They are going to make you spend more money, not because that's what they've tried to do. It's a consequence of what they've done. And for me, until I can level in Zone 17 with a combiner and with one bot, listen, if it's not Ruination, me personally, I'm not too bothered. If I can level with another combiner in Zone 17 with a combiner and one bot, I'm quite happy. I would like Ruination to be buffed still. It's not really fair. People chase his content. It's so poor. Granted, does need a buff. But for me, Zone 17 leveling is so important. So important for this game. Because there's people like myself who, when they brought out Mayhem mode, started competing in every single endurance, every single Mayhem event, including the event for Trailbreaker this weekend, or next weekend even. Same sort of thing. I competed in every single decent event. I competed in the Metro event. I didn't compete in the Fort Max event. For the same reason. It's literally going to put people off spending. And I just don't understand that. They need to have a middle ground. And the next step they need to do before they do anything else is buffing Ruination. It should be the next thing. If there's any more buffs or any more nerfs other than that, I'm going to be disappointed. It definitely needs rectifying ASAP. So, we'll have to wait and see what happens. We'll have to see how quickly they react to it. But I was sat here last week saying how good it was. And now I'm not too happy. I think that says it all. I was willing to give them a chance. And sadly, I think they've gone back on that in a way. Not really thought it through. They've, for me, knee-jerked it. They've done a knee-jerk reaction on nerfing the content before they buffed it. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll give them a chance to try and rectify it, try and buff Ruination back to close to where it was, I think. 75% of what it was, maybe something like that. But we'll have to wait and see how it goes. But let me know in the comments, have you used Ruination this weekend for leveling? Are you going to use Ruination for leveling? Has it put you off spending? Has it put you off competing events? Let me know. So have a look. Carl support. He's fine the way he is. Now realistic, but yes, no big events. Well, that's not good, is it? Meta Bears, but they don't care about this official. No, I don't think that. I don't agree with that. I just think they're making bad choices, like always. Cuddy Fox support. I just got World, my last 5-star for Ruination. But now with this nerf, I do not know if I want to upgrade to 5-star. Yeah, fair point. I would wait, to be fair. What else? They make us spend more money because they're broke from moving to Europe. No, I don't think that's all. King Grimlock's, but I'm on board 100%. Was this was crazy reaction to what? Taking a 5-star to the worst it possibly be. It's poor state and bad faith. Negotiation what it should be. Yeah. Heroes has put exactly was I spend more now because I'm competing again with Ruin. Yeah, I just don't bother me, honestly. I just hate when they say things like power level your bots in their newsletter and you don't have a chance in the zones where you can get some real XP. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have agreed with you before that, but I do now. Blade 19 talk about the Comptron nerf. Well, it was a bit OP. It was. It was. Ruination's going to the beacon now. See how this weekend goes. Q's put, give your game a restart and see if it feels any better. That's not a time for today, I don't think. I'll have to have a go with him tomorrow. But for now, yeah, I literally used him today. It was awful. See a Texas put, I think they need jerk the patch update. I mean, it came out way too fast in my opinion. Yeah, I think the problem, I said this in the stream, I think the problem was that we didn't test it in wars. I was testing it in zone like 16, 17, or whatever, 16 I think it is, isn't it? 16? And 16 is nowhere close to wars, but you just don't think like that. And I was testing 16, I thought, you know what? It's not too bad this, but then you forget there's an extra 10, 15, 20% HP added on after that. And the defences that they could have wiped them out when we balanced it and looked at it, they couldn't anymore. And that's the problem. Ramquake's put, I use Magna Boss now for leveling 15. Yeah, I think any combiner can level in zone 15, but there's a lot less XP. Tracks put, you heard it here first, was a finally said the Yodas are making bad choices as always. Yeah, I do. I think that Dale's made some good choices, just made some wrong choices with them good choices. That makes sense. Did they need to nerf Ruination? Yes. Did they need to nerf Beachcomber? Yes. Did they need to change the way that Blue Streak works because it was making people glitch out? Yes. Did they need to nerf Leo Prime? Yes. Did they need to nerf Optimus? Yes. Did they need to nerf Ruin's Hollows after the buff that gets the Hollows? Yes. So all those things did need to happen. Should they have nerfed the Hollows before the buff Ruination? No. Did they nerf Leo too much? Yes. Did they nerf Optimus too much? Maybe. Did they change Blue Streak for the better? No. Did they nerf Beach too much? Yes, but then there was a bug which made him too OP, and now that is fixed, and now he probably needs a buff again. So, listen, I can't be mad about bugs. Bugs happen. It can't be helped. Let's have a look. Stephen Gomez done a super chat. As always, any super chats I've got to read out. My rule. Stephen Gomez has put, with these changes, Ruin is no longer viable for leveling in Mayhem. I agree. He is simply not on the board long enough. I agree. Zone 15 only in traditional kill the HQ. I agree. Completely agree with that. He's nowhere close to being good enough. And no other combiner can do what he does. And Dale was sort of saying this, that you can use other combiners. Like, you can't, because you don't understand how he's used. Once he dies, you drop the hollows to help finish the base off and not pop the outpost. No other combiner can kill more defenses like they can when he dies. Dead simple. Backwards Entertainment has put, I'm not even buying a side pass going forwards. They ain't getting no more money from me. How they like them apples. Well, me personally, I would say don't spend until you're happy with the game again. Hopefully they'll get to that point again, and then it'll be a lot better. Neil's put, I still think the priority should be on base balance, then bots. You know what? I kind of agree. It's kind of something that I did say to Dale as well. I said the problem is that there are some too many overpowered bots, but there's also too much focus on that cluster. It's almost like you've got to get a solution for that cluster. And once that's done, I don't worry about beam lasers and mortars and turrets. And I look at the prime cores and where they are. But outside of the prime cores and the cluster, does anyone look at the placement of turrets and mortars and beam lasers and launchers? If you've got a launcher with, with a core without a, I can't remember the name of the core now, guided missiles, do you think that's a problem? I don't personally. If it has Nexus on, it's then a problem. The prime cores are the problem. And the cluster. But the rest of the defenses are pretty useless, and that's where I think the balance needs to be. They need to balance the bots, balance the defenses to be more of a problem. Me personally, I'd look at reducing my Cronus, reducing the MDS effectiveness, and improving mortars, launchers, turrets, cannons, beams. Generally, I'll look at changing, increasing the core maybe. But then they can't be as good as prime cores, can they? But do they bring out new cores even? Maybe. There's lots of options they can do, but defense is definitely underwhelming. There's certain things that are massively overpowered on defense even, and that's a problem. Darton says, I only worry about Nexus and the age core, nothing else matters. My Cronus sometimes I worry about. Depends where it is, especially if it's a cluster. Build bots, yeah. Cuddy Fox has put, I think all the bots you mentioned does need to be nerfed, but right now I think they got nerfed too much. I agree. Then in the middle ground, I do agree. Berserk's put, yeah, the cluster's a problem. They make big silver bullets and don't balance the game as a whole. I agree on that as well, yeah. Neil's put, yeah, you need to look at where the colours are. There are certain colours to try to stick out first, because some of that stuff hurts worse than a Mike Tyson fist round knockout. Yeah. Down has put, the MDS needs to remove, disable, and hack immunity. I'll start thinking about that. Not sure that's a good or bad thing. Just disable, hack. Maybe, I don't know. I'll think about that. Interesting. King Grimlock's put, with things not working, horrible time to be a defender. I made proper choices on layout change. There's no meta right now. Yeah, but, you know, you should be able to design a good base. But that's a problem as well. Dread81's put, disagree. God Neptune shouldn't have been touched. Plenty of counters. Nerfing is a lazy way. There wasn't any counters, really. There wasn't. Honestly, like, it was far too easy, far too good. Honestly, it was. Blade 19's put, let's hope they do all this when HQ19 comes out. Other than this, the game is dead in the water. It's going to be interesting, for sure. Interesting. Goody Fox has put, instead of nerfing bots that much, maybe raise the low bots up like Jump Stream, Sludge, and 2 quarters triple changes. Yeah, I agree with buffing them. I do, but that's not the answer. If Leo Prime does 16k damage, that's not the answer just to then increase defense and then bring all the bots up to where Leo Prime is. You then, instead of nerfing 5 bots, you're then improving maybe 70, 80, 90 bots to be that level. And you've got all the defense upgrades as well. It's just a bit unrealistic, sadly. But I understand where you're coming from, but it's basically the same. Because if anything, it's worse. Because then, if they do that, you then got to get all the upgrades for defenses, and you've got to level all your bots up to where Leo Prime is. Because once they bring the defenses out to Leo Prime's level, no other bot will be as useful. So, it's not the best idea. Berserk's put, they should focus on the buffs and not nerfs. Kind of agree, but there was some problems. Beachcomber, Blue Streak, and Leo Prime were a problem. They were far too overpowered. And no one is going to convince me otherwise, sadly. They just were. There were times where I was pounded on Beachcomber for a minute 30 with a full team. I wasn't dying. And I found out that in certain instances he had a 97.5% damage reduction on him, which is mental. 97.5% reduction constantly, which is mad. And then obviously Blue Streak was crashing the game at lower levels, so that had to change. And Leo Prime being able to one-shot any defense, even with 2 fire cores. Anti-fire core should stop you from using a bot unless taken out, and literally you're just smashing the base with Leo Prime, so even with fire cores around, so there's no point. See attacks is put in PT when we're working, the other combiners, we were using God, Neptune, Rune as a standard. And sadly the studio guys pretty much said stop using Ruination God Neptune as a standard for comparison. Yeah, because he was a bit OP. He was OP. You know, he was. But, yeah. Dread81, would Road Boss and Half shall work against Beachcomber? Before the changes, then no. Because you would do damage to him, but then with Jarze on him, it would just go up in health again. So, no, it wouldn't. And the shield regenerated again. So, yeah. Glenn W's put, I don't mind nerf, but I do think the ability 11 abilities should feel more powerful. This is the problem, you see. I didn't went through this again a while back. This is the problem you've got. So, you don't want to make a 4 or 5-star bot useless for 1 to 10. But you want to make 11 a good enough upgrade for what it is. So the problem is you've got to find that sweet spot of, you don't want it to tend to be good and 11 to be a small upgrade and feel a bit crappy. But then you don't want to have a massive gap where the 10's rubbish and you need ability 11. Oh, it's crap. So you've got to find that balance, and it's really hard. I will give that much. You know, I'm quite a reasonable guy. I'm not going to sit here and just bash people for the sake of it, but then I'm not obviously going to side with people for the sake of it either. I'm literally just going to be on the side of reason. and what I think is right and wrong. That's why I said yes, Beach needed a nerf, Ruination needed a nerf, Blue Streak, all these things needed doing, but it was gone too far. So you know, a bit too far. Yeah, Grindtime's put Ruination went from OP to no P. And I think that's the point. He went from OP, and we wanted him to be good. You know, maybe still the best combiner in the game, but not OP, which he was. But literally now he's gone to awful. That's a problem. That's where we're at. Okay. So, top 5 improvements from the patch. So we've obviously been talking so much about all the nerfs. I think it's important now to talk about some of the best bots that have actually come out of this balance patch. I know those people will be like, oh, it's awful, every bit of it is awful. Let's be honest, guys, there are some good points to this patch. And it took me quite a while to sort of try out some different bots, different tactics, different combos, and struggled in wars a bit because of that. But I'm going to talk about top 5 bots for me that I think improvements really made a big difference that I'm seeing to people using them in wars. Obviously, you still got the good bots like Minerva and Pirates. I'm not going to include them. I'm just going to include some of the bots that got some quite substantial buffs to be decent. So first bot on the list that I've been using in my war team is Brainstorm. And I've been using Brainstorm for a couple of different reasons. So great in an area, a bit like Air Raid, but what he's really good at, what I feel is, when you're trying to kill the cluster and you're trying to kill the MDS, I find it really useful that you can't stun the MDS with Air Raid, although Air Raid is still a viable option, but you can slow it with Brainstorm. And if you've got any electric in your team to try and kill the MDS or kill the defenses around it, then it does a really good substantial amount of damage. So I generally use Brainstorm to put on the cluster and the shield gen, take out the shield gen, it slows all the MDS down, so not doing damage against you, and then you can take them out with other bots as well just to finish them off, and it generally clears the whole area. For 4+3, it's really effective when you compare it to Air Raid at 3+2. It's quite similar in cost, it's 1 extra, but you get that utility that's slow. So this is why people are still using Air Raid still, but for me, I just prefer Brainstorm, and I think that they finally got it right with him. That he's slightly more expensive than Air Raid, but has that utility, and I kind of think that's where bots need to be. If you've got 2 bots that are quite similar, and one has that bit extra, it should be a bit expensive. And to be honest, I'm quite happy where he is. I think he's a really good bot and he's balanced right, and I think his cost is right, and I think he's done really, really well. Give me a sec. And next bots we have is Taz Kid. So I've just spoken about that sort of cryo damage with stun, and this is a great combo bot to use along with Brainstorm, and it's a great amount of damage on his own, and it's a great combo bot as well. And I've been trying to find ways to use this electric and cryo together, and although Taz Kid's range is not amazing, it just means that you don't have to use him for Brainstorm, but you can do on front-loaded bases to clear a huge area. On back-loaded bases, you need to use Brainstorm with a different bot, but you can use Tasmanian Kid still to clear that front area. The fact is that his melee doesn't help him. It's not great. He can get in a bit of trouble, but I just think he's absolutely brilliant at clearing an area. You'll find that you generally use the Alpha Swipe rather than the Omega Swipe, but for me, the Alpha Swipe clears a good area and just finish it off with the Omega Swipe if needs be. Will he get a nerf? Who knows? He is really, really powerful, but I still think that combo of him and Brainstorm in an area is still a really viable combo, even if he does get slightly reduced or a cost increase. Really good combo. Just there we go. And next up is Sunstreaker. So not only have they increased his damage, but they've also reduced his cost as well. and I'm finding people are using him from quite a long range away. So as you can see here, the range on Sunstreaker is absolutely substantial. Can pretty much clear from half the map. Really, really good buff to him. Combo with that acid and fire is really viable as well for that sort of cluster. Had to be careful for the anti-fire billbots. People have not switched over yet from the anti-fire billbots. I think because the likes of Sunstreaker, because they're so viable and so good. So we're still seeing those acid fire cores on defense. But as we sort of see 5-star traps come into the game, as we see people starting to use cryo a bit more, I think we'll see a variation in billbots a bit more, and might even see Sunstreaker a bit even more viable. What we do need though is a long range acid bot. We can use the likes of Arc, we can use the likes of Acid Crimzeet, but we don't have really any really long range acid bots that can help. Maybe Skydive, but again, as a 4-star, maybe not as desirable, but still a really, really good bot, really, really viable. Next up, we've got Rust Dust. As part of her change, it was absolutely incredible the amount of damage she does. I mean, 8,000 damage is quite considerable. Using it twice, using 16.5k for 4 plus 3. Will she get a bit of a nerf going forwards? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe a slight tweak, but nothing crazy. But at 4 plus 3, so you're talking 11 ability points for clearing a whole area. That's pretty cheap. People comparing her to the new Leo Prime with the amount of range that she's got. Oops. And as you can see there, she's got a really considerable range. I'm just sort of using the ability twice like this in an area. Slacking them up, and you'll find that she does a great amount of damage. And next up, we've got a bit of a strange choice because this bot kind of got nerfed, but kind of got buffed at the same time. And that bot is Smokescreen. Now, the way Smokescreen was generally used was glass gas in an area and did damage against outpost bots and coupled with air raid, and that's the way it was sort of utilised. That's changed obviously with the reduction of glass gas. But the way you sort of use him now is that you can literally clear a defense from the launch pad. And what I've been looking at is you normally have 2 MDS, one with Vector, which is quite hard to kill, and one with another Prime Core, whatever it may be. But you can literally take that out for 4 shots from the launch pad with Smokescreen. So yes, it is 12 ability points, it's expensive, but because it's 3 plus 0, it means you can take a defense out from the launch pad, still keep his cost at 3, so if you want to use him later on you can do, and you still got all them points that you need to get back at the bottom. So you can literally use him, take out 2-3 structures from the launch pad, then get all your points back at the bottom. It's an easy, simple way just to keep some defenses out of the reckoning. Really, really good change, different utility. That 50% execute is interesting, the way it sort of works. You can literally do some damage in an area and then just snipe them and finish them off, which for me sort of makes sense. I feel like the 50% execute might reduce. They might get a bit nerfed. I even think they might even reduce his range eventually. Or increase his cost to 3 plus 1. Because of this reason, just because it's so easy to take out any defenses from the launch pad. But for the time being, I think he's a very good bot in a different utility, different way. from what he was used before, and literally a staple in my war team before and a staple in my war team now. So they've always been nerfed in a way. He's also had a good buff, just need to change the way you use him. And that's the 5 bots that I think are really useful in the game right now that have had really good buffs from the update that they posted. So what do you guys think? Do you use any of these bots in your war team right now? Are you going to use any of these bots? Do you see some viable options in there? Let me know if you use them. Let me know if you're going to use them. And let me know what you guys think of the changes to these bots to help you in war. So have a look. See what you guys are saying. Darklands is working on Sunstreaker. Yeah. Good option. Cuddy Fox support. I use Brainstorm and Jetfire as a team to destroy a lot of defenses. Yeah, it's just that Jetfire can't destroy all of them at my level. So, yeah. Brad Channing's put they got it right. They'll nerf that next then. Maybe. Darklands has got Brainstorm on a squad of Metal Hawk and SG Jetfire. Works well with them three. Okay, cool. Yeah, not SG Jetfire, not as much personally, but I understand the sort of Brainstorm Metal Hawk sort of like, utility of going through the base and sort of like slowing them and reducing range. I can't get that. Darklands Air Raid and Brawn's a great combo. I don't like Scouts though personally. They run off and die a lot, so I'm not too keen for that. King Grimlock 2 for 2 my current squad. Different core and combat on Taz. What have I got on Taz? No, that's how I've got him up on live. With the, I think it's 5-star Enerax though. Just more health and healing, and then Alchemist. Just using the ability to just keep him alive because the fact his melee just kind of kills him a bit. King Grimlock's put Sunstreaker is crazy right now. Needs a nerf. Cuddy Fox has put yeah, he's getting used instead of Jazz because cheaper. Yeah, I think Jazz needs more of a buff, I think, as well, yeah. Stephen Gomez put the fact we are asking ourselves, are they going to nerf a bot? Creates a perilous situation for the game. I kind of get it, but then you also got to think, though, are they going to buff it? So it'll be another bot that you get that'll become good. So yeah, so I would say level all bots, or just one. That's what I make. DJ Master Ninjas put water effects do more damage to fire stuff. Well, not really, because water and fire don't go together there. Dance put skid, slingshot, scattershot. Scattershot's range not that good. Skid range is the same as Rustus, but not the same as Sunstreakers. Slingshots is I think a bit shorter than Sunstreakers or thereabouts. But I'm not a big fan of slingshot personally. Just not. So skipped ahead. Sorry. Blade 19's but agree we should not have to be worried about everything we are putting money into getting nerfed. No, the idea is not to get nerfed like some of the nerfs have done. It's just to balance a bit with a slight cost increase. Maybe make it a bit dearer, reduce the cost by a few squares, something like that. So me personally, I would drop Sunstreaker's damage by about 1,000, which sounds a lot, but that's still 10.5k, which is still a lot. And then I would reduce his range by about 4 squares, which is like 1 defense worth. And I think it's done. I think it's balanced and done. And you gotta think, once we get it right, that's done. Then you don't need to balance it really. Yeah, and King Greenland's put a good point. Darkland skids, Rustus combo very much back in play. I think that was the idea. Using 2 bots. I think if you're using 2 bots to combo that next that costing you like 9, 10 ability points, something like that, then you've got the combo right. 8, 9, 10 ability points to clear an area. I think it's about right. Neo, I started using Swindle and Inferno to some degree. Yeah, that's a good combo. Yeah. So again, I don't sort of mind that you're using them sort of like bots like that. It's a good idea. That's what you want, combos. That's a good idea. Supreme Rules, welcome to the stream. Good to see you, buddy. King Grimlock's put small screen in place blue streak due to cost. Yeah, I agree with that. Cuddy Fox, so we should say that Ariel needs to be nerfed because she might be OP on 2 bases. No, I don't think Ariel needs a buff, personally. Sky Voltage says, yeah, this new meta of bots is working on them, but you like Scrapnel and Bumblebee. I like Scrapnel and Bumblebee's ability. I just don't like their survivability. They just run off and die. We need a new core for scouts. I really do think that a new combat. Darkland's trying to use Blur as a new sack. Yeah, fair enough. We've got a counter for Blur with the Flame Iron, so I don't mind that. Listen, if there's a counter for it and people don't use it, tough. That's their problem. There's a counter for Brainstorm. I've just said that. We've got the anti-cryo cores. We've got a counter for Lustos. Got a counter for Sunstreaker. We've got a counter for Taz Kid. So we've got all these counters, but there's no counter for Smokescreen. That's why I'm a bit worried about it, because it's normal damage. And there's counter for Blur in terms of Flare Mines, but there's no real counter for Blade Sack. And that's my point. If there's counter, I am fine with it. People use that counter, fair enough. If they don't, tough, it's up to them. But there needs to be a counter for everything at the detriment of something else. That should be the case with literally everything in the game. Everything for me. And then your choice is what to defend against. Dead simple. Blade 19, but upgrade all the bots in the game. That's not really a viable option. Well, if you want to be at the top level of the game, then I think it is. To be honest with you, or most of them. I do think so. I think that the days of having 8 war bots, sadly are, long gone. You need a war team of different bots and for different bases. I think that was always sort of the idea. You don't want to level 8 bots and they room supreme on every single base. I don't think that's really fair. That means that you can't defend against them. That means that if that player then uses them 8 bots, it's a win condition. I don't think that's really fair. Sky Knight has put to that point, balancing of the bot should be done before release, not after. People shouldn't fear the bot will change as soon as it's released. I kind of agree with that. Yeah, you're right. I think that in the past, though, they've made poor choices. They've rushed content, and now we're paying the consequences of that, and he's been left too long. And now Dale has been held to carry the baby, so to speak, been left with, whatever. And that was my take on it. But now Dale is sort of in charge of these things. But I think that some of the changes made since the stream last week are a bit badly timed. The changes need to happen, but not before other things need to happen. The next thing that needs to happen is the Ruination buff. There shouldn't be any, other than bugs, which I kind of get bugs sometimes happen and they get found. Other than bugs, the next thing should happen is the Ruination get buffed. That's that. Supreme Rules put Hated Sentience special goes to walls. That shouldn't happen. I think it's been fixed though. Darklands has put Scout to slow them down. It means the core I'm talking about. To slow them down or give them stealth. I don't know about stealth because it's dangerous ground then. But then it's Flare Man suppose, so maybe yeah. Yeah, maybe. I've got all 5-star. I have in a squad to get them some XP to them max. One squad has 2 4-stars in. Yeah. Dale has been taken out behind the wood shack after the hollow nerf. I doubt it somehow. Cool. Right, okay. Let's go have a look at some usage rates. So, these are sort of usage rates that the team have sort of gone through since the update. So bots that have improved in win rate. So Smokescreen has improved by 2.48%. And as we sort of spoke about previously, I don't think that's because Smokescreen is any better in a way. Maybe it is. But maybe it's more because lack of blue streak anymore to kill billbots and stuff. But with that 50% kill that he has, then that is obviously really a good change to him, making him more viable. Tracks increase, even though the cost has been increased. I don't think that tracks has become better because of that. I just think that people need more options now to protect bots while they're trying to kill the shield gen. It's become harder to kill the shield gen, hence why people are using tracks a bit more to protect their bots while they deal with these things. It's become more costly to kill the shield gen as well, and so people now need cheap options to protect their bots, hence why I think tracks is being used more. SG Jetfire has increased by 5%. I think the reason for that is that they need options to kill the shield gen. People are trying different options out. Air raid has decreased slightly, also because of his reduced range and his utility, but still being used. Cup has increased. I don't know, is that people trying back doors rather than walk, because walk is more difficult? I don't know, I'm not too sure about that. Blaster has increased. I mean, obviously he got a small amount of a buff, but I think that countering the laser MDS and trying to counter Cosmos because it hacks 3 targets just means that you're hacking 1 less bot if you have Blaster in your team. So I think that could be the reason for people using Blaster more. Brainstorm's seen a 15% increase, which is one of the highest, if not the highest increase. Because obviously I think we went from absolutely awful to absolutely good. I wouldn't say it's OP at the minute, but I would say it's really, really good. Huge improvement, like I said, and obviously the cryo with the comboing opportunities. I think that they got that perfectly right. Wing Saber increased slightly. I think that's because the shield gen became more of a problem and people need options to kill the shield gen. I didn't use Wing Saber before this update, now I am. And then Taz Kid has an increase as well. I don't think that's because Taz Kid has changed, but I think that he's the new meta bot now that the likes of Leo and Optimal have obviously been nerfed, and that's why people are using that a bit more. Bots that decline, you've obviously got Optimal Optimus, you've got Leo Prime, you've got Beachcomber. Wheeljack as well has slightly gone down. I think the problem with Wheeljack's gone down. It says plus, but it's minus. It's a typo error. I think the reason is that people are going to want heal a bit more and put in hence tracks in there or overload. That's what I've done. I've stopped using 2 healers as much and gone to 1 to try and get through base a bit quicker. Especially with the change that happened to Beachcomber, which made him almost invulnerable, but now that's been reverted, so it's a bit easier now. Elite has gone down. I think, me personally, I think that's just people going to the Blaze Sack rather than Elite Sack. You notice that a cost reduction. Rook's been reduced. I think that's to add more DPS as well, because obviously Beachcomber is a big problem and they want to try and take out that shield gen and need more bots to do it rather than just the old Prime. Just going over it again, Optimal Optimus obviously decreased, Leo Prime decreased a huge amount. Beachcomber decreased a huge amount. This is just for attack, not on defense though. And then Smokescreen, but obviously still good because of the change of utility, like we said in the previous video. Tracks, obviously by the nerf, been used more for the change of a healer. Sea Spray has been slightly decreased. There's no actual stats for that I've got here. I put the stats into ChatGPT and made this out, so I'm not too sure if there's a stat or not, but Sea Spray obviously been reduced slightly. I think that's because of his nerf. I think we'll see a bigger change to that come next month. And then Air Raid, obviously a slight change for Air Raid, so we'll see a slight reduction in usage. Then bots that need buffs. These are sort of the bots that they looked at the low usage and win rates. So Windblade is very low. Not a very good sack bot. There's no vulnerability like we have with Elita. And she dies very quickly, and just taking out single defense is not very viable. So will we see Windblade sack come back? Maybe. Strafe in terms of swoop, they call him Strafe obviously. A 31% win rate. Obviously a great outpost bot, but 5+5, I actually said this during the balancing today that 5+5 is far too costly for him, and he stays in the air for far too long. So for me personally, I think he needs to speed his ability damage up, which will also boost him on defense, doing damage a bit quicker. So interesting if that would maybe be the case. Strafe, I think Strafe from Computron, 11% win rate. Really, really poor. I said this pathing wise because he only targets defenses. It's really, really poor. I think that we'll see Rotorstorm later on and Sentius all in the buff, so we can use that sort of spam team. That was my idea, but it never come to fruition because it was just pretty woeful. We could see the damage. Needs more. Skylinks, 40% win rate. Maybe needs scaling or synergy of some kind. I think scaling with that cloud is the way to go forwards and increase the amount of bots that do sort of interact with that cloud. But ultimately, it's not his ability damage that's the problem. It's his actual speed, a lack. I did actually cover this with Dale as well. A lack of any slowdown mechanic like some bots have, where they sort of throw the grenades and have passives. But because he doesn't have the that, he has that sort of fire breather, but it's very quick. Just means that he goes out ahead and dies, a bit like Snarl. Chromia 43%, very good bot on defense, but obviously not on attack that much. Again, it's that sort of scout problem that needs to be addressed. So again, having a scout combat that keeps them back will be very beneficial to improving all the scouts, and we'll see their win rate go up, I think. Rhinox, obviously it's a Russian warrior, Russian special bot, sorry, without any sort of utility. So they said that maybe they need better VFX and better disable or better synergy. So yeah, I think they need to increase the slow rate maybe to help them increase the area. Rotorstorm and Laser Optimus, like we said above, not quite enough damage really. Scattershot, 50% win rate, weak performance, needs a rework. I don't think it needs a rework, I think it just needs more acid damage. Impactor, I think they need to just increase the more damage he takes, the more he does. Basically, increase that percentage. Because for me, I always thought that it's a really good idea. But the problem is that when he's against bases that are spaced out, it should be pretty awful because it doesn't do enough damage. But bases that like front loaded, where it takes a load of damage, it should basically be going like smashing that damage out basically. And that's where they basically need to put the work into Impactor and increasing that percentage that it goes back and remove the cap. Let him just do crazy amount of damage if he takes loads of damage. Sentius, as I said above, just needs more damage. Drift has a 53% win rate. Effective, obviously with lack of flare mines. If people to use flare mines a bit more, it'd be less effective. But Drift is actually really effective at just killing the HQ on his own, which is kind of a cheat code in a way. But again, as I said before, there is a counter for it, and so I'm fine with it. If you've got a flare mine there, he is dead. And so, you know, if you're getting your HQ taken out by a Drift, then go and use flare mines. You would say, yeah, but then I've got to get rid of something else. That's the way it goes. I'm fine with it. Perceptor for 44% win rate. Again, survivability is the problem. Basically just needs to be able to stay back a bit more. Make him cheaper than Blades. Blades can hack in an area. Perceptor needs to target certain defenses. Make him a lot cheaper. Mirage, 50% win rate. I think that the fact that he's only a 4-star doesn't help, but definitely needs more range and definitely a longer stun or disable should be. No, the minions just don't do enough damage. Don't want them too much like Blaster, but I would give them a bit of a overhaul in terms of damage. Other bots with usage and performance details. Rodimus Prime, 63% win rate, but has low usage. I don't know anyone that uses Rodimus Prime, but seems to say that if you do it in a certain way, maybe Russian Smash, then it does really well. Cosmos, 63% win rate, but obviously that's just on attack. Add an extra balance, but still weak. I don't think he is weak. I think it's the cost maybe, or the time is in the air. It just hacks, but then I think the hack should stay on them, but he should land. I don't like the fact that he stays in the air. For me, he should just throw the hack out, and rather than pulsing hacks out constantly, he should just go and hack it for, is it 20 seconds ability? Land, and then he can start shooting again. That's my point. I don't like the fact that he stays in the air for too long. Bumblebee, 57.8% win rate, probably the better of the scouts, but needs revaluation after scout nerfs. Yeah, I don't think it would nerf too much, but again, it's that survivability. Hoist, 70% almost win rate, drops off hard in actual use because people use healers more, so they don't really need him, but maybe make him a bit cheaper. And Inferno has a 70% win rate, usage is low, needs a buff to compete. I don't think he does. I think we'll see him use more HQ 19 maybe. But I think a 70% win rate is really good. If people don't use him much, maybe just make him slightly cheaper, maybe 1 cheaper. That's what we found with Brainstorm. They made him cheaper and he was really good. So maybe just reduce his cost by 1 maybe. So that's kind of all the usage rates of all the bots that they're looking at. It's not every bot in the game, but it's most of the big changes that happened. And obviously it's good to see that, you know, these bots need buffs. So these are the bots they're sort of looking at behind the scenes to improve. So looking forward to these buffs and looking forward to some of these where they may get a bit of a buff as well. So lots of buffs I think to come. Here's hoping. Not too many more nerfs. Yeah, we could see some more viable bots in the future. Let me know what you guys think. Some bots in here. Any ideas you've got for how they should be buffed to make them relevant? Let me know in the comments. Alice saying says that the change lead to now a cause affected by FFD. It should have been always. It should have been as a bug. because obviously any shield is including vulnerability, including hot rod. So yeah, it always should have been, sadly. Darton support heal on Windblade isn't enough for counter for sack. Yeah. And Darton support they tried synergy with Topspin, but it was too expensive, wasn't it? Let's be honest. Could he Fox support I use Rotorstorm and Senses on the same team? They destroy a lot when they are using their builds at the same time. Not as much at the top levels. Darton support slightly longer range on Scattershot. Could balance him out. Yeah, I agree. Glenn Dewey's put how are Beast Wars, Megs, and Optimus not on that list? So it's not for all the bots, it's just for bots that got a buff or a nerf. That's the ones we're looking at, the previous ones. But bots that need a buff, it's just primarily looking at. So I don't know, maybe, yeah, that's a fair point actually. Darton support Drift with Primal Sword is mean. I like the hollows though, the hollows a bit inconsistent, you can't tell when they're going to be dropped. Could he Fox support? I had the same problem with Slasher Flare Mines. Her low defense knocks her out too fast. Yeah, I get it. Fair enough, it is though. It is what it is, but you know, there's counters. Darton's Cheeto is worse than Primal. Yeah, Cheetah definitely need an improvement. What else? DJ Master Ninjas put keep Cheeto's SA speed active for 30 seconds to 15. It won't help. It just dies basically. It needs some sort of survivability added. See, Eddie's put that again. They announced HU19 should just buff all the characters, just the elemental stuff. Yeah, they can't buff all the characters to where Leo Prime would have been, because then everyone just walk all the bases with 3 bots. They can't have done that. And HU19 is not ready yet. And they didn't want to leave it the way it is. So I kind of get it. Firepower, where can I see this chart? You can't. So this is mine that I've done. It's not available. The content creator has been told strictly that they can do content on it and do their own sort of things on it. But they can't just publish it, basically. They need to do a video on it. And this is mine, like I said, that I've sort of created from this in ChatGPT from some of the things they've done. So it might be slightly out, maybe. Obviously, AI is not perfect. But yeah, the actual document they've given us is obviously in playtest, not playtest, in the content creators, and can't be published. They've asked, so yeah, cool. So I'm gonna admit, so I've not written the past that batch down even. So I know the bots. Yeah, but I can't remember the ones that have. I'll explain in a minute. What's his name? Trying to think of the ones that. Yeah, three that everyone knows actually. That's the ones I'm thinking of. Have a look. Oh my god, what's happening? Okay. Oh my god. Hang on, give me a second, guys. I'm trying to think it was this now. So unprofessional. I wrote it down somewhere, but I've lost it in the book. Because I scribbled it all down. I thought I'm going to write out quite neat. I've written out quite neat and then not put all the bats down. Oh my days, and for some reason Discord's not loaded. Why is Discord not loading? It's not there, so why is it not loaded? It's really strange. Oh, that's why. Okay. Give me a second. I'm gonna kick myself at this, but hey. Of course, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Of course, yeah. Duh. Okay, cool. Okay, so the 5-star batch is going into testing soon. And Dale has said that we can actually share which bots are going to be in the batch. So, first off, I mean, no surprise on a couple of the bots, I think. The first bot is going to be Vector Prime. It's going to be in the 5-star batch. Obviously, it was released in Endurance, and hence why we expected him. And then the next bot in the batch is going to be Wingsaber as well. Again, another Endurance bot last year. So those are the two bots going to be in the batch that we sort of knew about. The third bot in the batch is going to be another Endurance bot, believe it or not. So 3 Endurance bots in the batch. And that is going to be someone I can't find. And that is Orion Pax. So we have Vector Prime, Wingsaber, and Orion Pax all from the Endurance events going into this batch. Which leaves just 2 bots that are going to be new 5-stars, completely new. And these choices, I'm a bit out there, if I'm honest with you. And the first choice is Jetfire Sky Striker. Who knew? So yeah, Jetfire Sky Striker could be the new bot to this batch. And then the last bot to make up this batch is going to be Snapdragon. So there's already been some changes proposed to these bots, but nothing set in stone right now. They're not even in playtest, they're just being discussed behind the scenes. But the big question right now is, for me, are they going to improve Vector even more? Are they going to keep it as it is? I think maybe keep it as it is. Personally, I'm not totally happy with it. I think the Hollows need a bit more survivability, but we'll see. Wingsaber, I can't see many changes happening to him. We just said that his usage rate has gone up, so I think that he was pretty decent still. Orion Pax, I think, needs a rework. I'm not happy with how it's worded. I mean, it's very confusing. I can find him. So I said this at the time, that fire a weapon that heals, or 4 of them that heals, and then each one posts and heals nearby Autobots for 40% of target's DPS. It's just a bit manic, the tooltip and what it does. And so I think that all needs clearing up and making it a bit more relevant. It's obviously supposed to be a utility bot that heals, but I just feel like it doesn't quite hit that hard. In terms of Jetfire Sky Striker, I think the problem really is making him different from all the jets. We've got a lot of jets that just do damage in an area or do particular one-shot damage in terms of Firefly and Jetfire. But the big problem is, how's he going to be different? What's he going to do? You know, to make him relevant. And that's a big question. I think Jetfire Sky Striker will be the biggest change of this batch to make him relevant. And then in terms of Snapdragon, I think the main worry is, will he make backdoors that bit more viable? I think they're talking about increasing the damage that it does with its fireball and increasing the utility of the cryo from the Mach 3, which is great. I think as a bot on his own, he definitely needs some improvement. But again, the range of that backdoor, is it going to get reduced? Who knows? Personally, if they reduce his range and that made his abilities a lot better, I would rather have that than keeping the range and keeping the abilities pretty rubbish. So might see a few changes to Snapdragon, and hopefully they can change the utility, because the fact he's got fire and the fact he's got cryo, is that good? Does that make him viable in 2 different ways? Maybe. Would you have both his abilities work in tandem together? Who knows? That's what the playtesters sort of decide, but going to be interesting nonetheless. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. Are you excited for some changes to these bots? Which bots do you want to see changes to? How do you want them changed? Are you going to go for this batch, or are you not really impressed with it? We sort of said with the last batch that we weren't really impressed with it until it got buffed and went to a half decent place. So hopefully they'll do the same with this batch with a bit more time. Take their time with it. get it right, and we'll have some good bots in the next 5-star batch. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and let me know if you're going to go for it or not. What else have we got? So we've got Firepower's put, I forgot Orion existed. Yeah, same. Brad Jennings put, I'll be avoiding this just like the last batch. I didn't mind the last batch, it was pretty decent. Cuddy Fox has put, another batch I can ignore. Shadow Con, thanks for being a member, has put 5-star snappy. Holy sakamole. Brad Jennings put, I'll just keep my 35k 5-star shards of Metroplex. Fair. Dark Answers put, Snap is a HQ rush bot. Yeah, interesting. Blade 19, not going to touch it. Captain Flint's put, have to hope for solid reworks when the 5 stars drop. Yeah, I think that's the thing. We need some serious reworks this patch. Cuddy Fox has put, Snapdragon has a problem of having a weak defense. Get knocked out too fast. Yeah, maybe. It does go into stealth, but obviously for 10 seconds is not enough. Pieki the Comb has put Warpath, Rustos, Ultra Magnus needs to be nerfed. I don't think Ultra Magnus does a Warpath really. Warpath costs a lot, doesn't it really? Dance has put, if I cashed in all my 4-star character crystals, I would have close to 200k 5-star shards. Wow. I think I worked it out. I've got about 80k 5-star shards, yeah. See you later, Darklands. Thanks for joining, buddy. Pieki Elko has put, tracks need to be nerfed. It's a joke to sell an OP bot. Maybe. Cuddy Fox has put, we need another 5 Jetfires. We don't have enough in the game. We also need another 3 or 4 more Optimus Primes. Yeah, but I kind of get Optimus Primes like as a selling point to bring people to the game. So I kind of get bringing out more Optimus Primes. When we played Transformers Legends, I was proud about this. There'd be loads of Optimus Primes. They'd bring up one every other month, but I kind of get it though. Brett Jennings put, I remember when they put Snapdragon for £0 in the store years ago. I got 300 before they changed it. Firepower wants a full team of Jetfires. Well, you can do that anyway with 4 stars, can't you? Pieki Elko has put Warpath, Glass Gas, please. He has Glass Gas. He does, as ability 11. Oh, he has it. What do you mean you want the Glass Gas moved? Maybe. I don't know what you mean. Michael Nicholson, thanks for being a member. Much appreciated. Has put, I've always been a Jetfire fan, so keep my fingers crossed. I think triple changes have needed love, so hope they get a Snapdragon right. Me too. Brad Jennings put, TFL, I miss not having a life, and the community was the best. The community was amazing, and TFL, it was great. Metabear, who's a member? I've literally gone through it. Just said all 5. Vector, Winged Saber, Orion Pack, Snapdragon, SG, not SG Jetfire, Jetfire, Sky Striker. Yeah, cool. Yeah, that is the 5-star batch, guys. Like it or not. Okay, cool, guys. That is it for last week, for this week. Obviously, this Sunday, going to be down in Birmingham at TFCon. If you're there, I hope to say hello. Let me know in the comments if you are going. I'll try and, well, I'll say I'll try and watch out for you. I don't know what you look like, but you watch out for me anyway. It'd be cool to see you there. And like I said, looking forward to a good day. I'll talk to Dale and the guys, pass on your sentiments as always, as I do with the channel and stuff and on Discord. But yeah, go to a vlog. I'll post that hopefully next week sometime. And you can sort of see the day and what we did and, you know, who we saw, who we met, etc, etc, etc. So yeah, look forward to that. See you next week, guys. Hopefully I have some more information about some good buffs and stuff. See you next week. Thanks for watching, guys, and peace out.